top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. The Department of Education has declared its victory over the coronavirus disease. During the National School Opening Day program this morning, Education Secretary Leonor Briones said that the school year 2020 to 2021 kickoff amid the pandemic was made possible through the full support of parents, teachers, heads of schools, and education officials from both local and national offices. Our correspondent Ina Hernando Malipot has the details.
Education Secretary Leonor Briones on Monday officially declared the opening of classes for school year 2020-2021 amid the COVID-19 pandemic. During the National School Opening Day program, Briones welcomed the school year by delivering a victory speech. Briones noted that there are 24,753,906 students enrolled in both public and private schools this year. She added that the school opening amid the pandemic was made possible through the support from nearly 50 million parents and other significant adults and 866,512 teachers, division superintendents, district supervisors, heads of schools, regional officials, and central office executives.
We will not allow COVID-19 to destroy our children's education and their future. Today, 24,753,906 learners, supported by nearly 50 million parents, grandparents, yayas, kuyas, ates, and 866,512 devoted and self-sacrificing teachers, plus our division superintendents, our district supervisors, our heads of schools, regional officials, and central office executives. All of us are participating in the opening of classes this 5th day of October 2020.
Briones also thanked both houses of Congress for raising important policy issues. She also cited the support of local government units, civil society organizations, among others.
Mention must also be made of our chief implementer, Carlito Galvez, and DILG Secretary Eduardo Año, who provided necessary field data and gave valuable advice to us. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque and Secretary Martin Andanar of the Presidential Communications Operations Office helped us to communicate developments, news, and decisions to the public.
There are 22.52 million students enrolled in public schools nationwide, or 99.79% of last school year's enrollment. In private schools, there are 2.17 million enrollees, or 50.48% of school year 2019-2020 enrollment. For MB Now, this is Ina Hernando Malipot reporting.
Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte praised the Education Department for a momentous start of the school year and expressed high hopes for the academic journey of students. The president also said that despite having a challenging frontier for students, teachers, and parents, he remains hopeful that the school year will be a successful one. Our Malacanang senior correspondent Jen Cabiling has this report.
Not even the coronavirus pandemic can get in the way of the education of students, President Duterte declared Monday in lauding the momentous start of the school year 2020 to 2021. The president recognized that the country's shift to the distance and online learning is a challenging frontier for students, teachers, and parents, but remained hopeful there will be effective learning despite the odds. More than 22.5 million students in public schools are expected to resume classes through alternative learning methods on Monday, October 5, following months of delay due to the coronavirus threat.
The school opening is this year is a momentous occasion because it is pushing through despite global health crisis due to COVID-19. Indeed, nothing can get in the way of the instruction and formation of our learners, not even a pandemic. This time also ushers in a new era in our basic education program, as we now ventured into distance and online learning. A challenging frontier not only for students and teachers, but for teachers, for guardians, and parents and guardians as well.
Instead of physically going to school, the students will attend classes through distance learning methods such as online, printed modules, or radio and television-based instruction. The President has praised the Education Department for its preparations for the start of the school year and expressed high hopes for the academic journey of students.
I commend the Department of Education and its partners for guiding all stakeholders to make this happen. May this school year be marked with strong hopes and optimism that effective learning will take place, even amidst the odds and challenges. Together, let us work to achieve a more informed, enlightened, inspired citizenry, starting with our children.
President Duterte had earlier frowned at the resumption of physical classes until the world finds a vaccine or cure to the viral illness. Duterte also promised to look for funds to purchase transistor radios that can be used for the learning of students living in far-flung provinces. For MB Now, this is Jen Kabiling reporting.
President Duterte continues to be the most trusted and approved top government official amid the COVID-19 pandemic, according to the latest Pulse survey, Asia survey, of finding out that in the nationwide survey conducted from September 14 to 20, among 1,200 respondents, the president earned a 91% approval rating, followed by Senate President Vicente Tito Soto III at 84%, House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano at 70%, Vice President Leni Robredo at 57%, and Chief Justice Diosdado Peralta at 44%. Duterte had a disapproval rating of 5%, while 5% are undecided. Robredo has a 21% indecision rating and 22% disapproval. 10% are undecided with Soto and had a 6% disapproval rating. A 6% disapproval rating was also obtained by Cayetano with 19% undecided. Filipinos are most undecided about the work of the Chief Justice at 37% and had a disapproval rating of 13%. 4 officials obtained small to huge majority approval ratings. Only Peralta failed to get a majority approval score. Pulse Asia said that most Filipinos are appreciative of the work done by 4 of the country's leading government officials. It added that public assessment of the officials' performance is essentially unchanged between December 2019 and September 2020.
At tingin ko, naniniwala ang taong bayan natin na talagang pag nagsalita ang presidente na hindi ngayon panahon ng politika, panahon para magkaisa, panahon para magbayanihan, at pinapakita naman po niya na totoo siya dito sa mga pangakong ito.
The Department of Transportation said on Monday that it is eyeing to create a system where commuters will only need to use a single mobility card for all modes of transportation. Secretary Arthur Tugade said the DOTR has been continuously exploring possibilities of cashless transactions, and among there is the one-card system. The DOTR chief said he also plans to open the production of the transportation cards to multiple players. The DOTR chief said that if it were up to him, he would like to have a one-card system for different modes of transportation by the end of the year. Tugade said the DOTR has already been eyeing cashless transactions in transportation services even before the COVID-19 pandemic, but the occurrence of the pandemic accelerated the agency's plans. In Metro News, Pasig Health Monitor to improve medical response in the city. Rights groups launch Know Your Rights app. And Fragment of Berlin Wall unveiled in Manila. More from this report.
Pasig City launched a citizen health information and monitoring system. Mayor Vico Soto said the Pasig Health Monitor, an online-based data management system, was developed primarily to streamline the processes of the local government by setting a dedicated communication line between government health offices and facilities. Another key feature of the Pasig Health Monitor is the Pasig Pass, a QR code-based contact tracing solution specifically developed for the city. The mayor noted that the use of the Pasig Pass is not yet required, but he urged residents to download the QR code of the contact tracing system once it will be open to the public for registration in the coming days. Meanwhile, the city has discharged 48 people who recently recovered from COVID-19 from the city's centralized quarantine facility last weekend. Press freedom and human rights advocates have launched an app that informs citizens about their basic rights and what to do if they are getting arrested, detained, or searched by the state security forces. The Know Your Rights app is an offline mobile version of the Know Your Rights primer developed by the Free Legal Assistance Group, or FLAG, and translated to Filipinos by the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism, or PCIJ. The app was developed by the Foundation for Media Alternatives, or FAM, as an effort to make the primer more accessible to mobile users. Users can download the app for free on Google Play Store or App Store. A fragment of Berlin Wall, a concrete barrier that divided Berlin, Germany for nearly 3 decades, was unveiled at Andres Bonifacio Monument Park in the city of Manila this morning. The said wall was a guarded concrete barrier around 155 kilometers long and 13 feet tall that stood from 1961 to 1989. It divided Germany and represented ideological differences between the United States and the Soviet Union in the Cold War. History will show that greater things are achieved through unity rather than division, said Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Magoso, who led the unveiling of the Berlin Wall Fragment 22. The Philippines was the first Southeast Asian country to receive the fragment of the Berlin Wall in 2015. It was displayed at the National Museum.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. Tagaytay to close business establishments every Monday for disinfection. Bacolod City sends home 73 bajaos to Sulu. And Davao Region reports 131 new COVID-19 cases in 2 days. More in this report.
Starting today, October 5, business establishment in Tagaytay City will be closed every Monday for disinfection. This after Mayor Agnes Tolentino issued an executive order for hotels, restaurants, fast food chains, amusement and theme parks, and souvenir shops to be closed every Monday for the disinfection of their premises. Offices and agencies operating from Monday to Friday, on the other hand, are required to conduct disinfection on weekends. Tolentino said the move aims to stop the spread of the coronavirus disease in Tagaytay City. The city government of Bacolod, through its Department of Social Services and Development and the Bacolod City Police Office, facilitated the return of 73 badyaos to their hometown in Jolo, Sulu on Sunday. Bacolod City Mayor Evelio Leonardia said that it was imperative that the badyaos be sent home before they become victims or carriers of the coronavirus disease as they continue to roam and beg around the city. The badyaos agreed to be sent home after they were briefed about the risks they may run into while roaming the streets of Bacolod in the middle of the COVID-19 outbreak. Bacolod City's Department of Social Services and Development provided their buses and boat rides to Zamboanga City, including their food and cash allowances. The DOH Davao Center for Health Development reported a total of 131 new cases of coronavirus disease in the region over the weekend. Records show that 95 of the new cases were from Davao City. Meanwhile, 10 of the new cases recorded on Saturday were children who were 12 years old and below. The region has also recorded 47 new recoveries, the youngest of which was an 8-month-old boy, which brings the region's total reported recoveries to 2,530.
In world news, Trump says learned a lot about COVID by really going to school. Egypt unveils coffins buried 2,500 years ago. And strength and passion in Vietnam as Dragon Festival delights crowds. Let's watch this.
U.S. President Donald Trump said Sunday he learned a lot about COVID by really going to school as he battled the virus in hospital.
I learned a lot about COVID. I learned it by really going to school.
Shortly after sharing the video, Trump left Walter Reed Hospital outside Washington for a surprise visit to supporters gathered outside. Video footage showed the president wearing a face mask and waving to crowds as he drove past. But Trump's action sparked an angry backlash from the medical community with a protocol-breaking visit to his supporters outside the hospital, where he is being treated for the highly infectious, potentially deadly new coronavirus. Health experts took to the airwaves and social media to criticize the stunt, which they said demonstrated that he had learned nothing at all. Archaeologists in Egypt said they had found 59 well-preserved and sealed wooden coffins over recent weeks that were buried more than 2,500 years ago this weekend. Opening one of the ornately decorated sarcophagi before assembled media, the team revealed mummified remains wrapped in burial cloth that bore hieroglyphic inscriptions in bright colors. The dramatic find was unearthed south of Cairo in the sprawling burial ground of Saqqara, the necropolis of the ancient Egyptian capital of Memphis, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Excavations in Saqqara have in recent years unearthed troves of artifacts as well as mummified snakes, birds, Saqqara beetles, and other animals. Strength, flexibility, and a whole lot of color were on display in the Vietnam capital Hanoi as dragons wreathed and flared in the streets. More than 300 Vietnamese performers took part in the dragon dances, part of celebrations to mark the city's 1010th anniversary. For the dancers, it's been a long time between performances because of strict coronavirus restrictions earlier this year. Dragon or lion dances are typically performed in Vietnam during Lunar New Year and the Mid-Autumn Festival.
In entertainment, K-pop star and 2NE1 member Dara, also known as Sandara Park, visited a Filipino market in Seoul recently and got to mingle and take photos with Pinoys and Koreans. She posted her new video, Philippines Market in Korea, on Dara TV on YouTube, where she visited a Filipino street market in Jongno, Seoul. Dara said her original plan was to shop at the Philippine market, introduce food and products, but due to endless photo shoots, it ended up as a vlog. At the market, Dara picked up her favorite Filipino products to buy, such as the Mang Tomas sauce, corned beef, and tocino. Dara said that tocino is her favorite breakfast while she was still living in the Philippines. Many Pinoys in the market recognized her and had photos taken with her. At the end of her blog, Dara said, "Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Mabuhay, mahal ko kayo." In sports, Chooks-To-Go Pilipinas 3-on-3 was given a provisional license to hold its President's Cup, which starts later this month under a bubble setup at the Inspire Sports Academy in Calamba, Laguna. The league got an approval from the Interagency Task Force to stage 5 legs starting October 21 after its earlier proposal of holding the season using a semi-bubble concept was denied. League owner Ronald Mascareñas is grateful to the government agencies and officials who were key in allowing the season to go ahead. Chooks 3-on-3 joins the PBA as the only leagues currently allowed to resume their seasons amid the COVID-19 pandemic. All 12 teams have already made final preparations for the bubble, beginning with practices that began on Monday and ending on Wednesday at the Epsilon Chi Center inside the University of the Philippines Diliman campus. Bubble participants will be required to take RT-PCR tests before observing a 5-day home quarantine. If tests come back negative, All participants can enter Inspire on October 14 and 15. Competing in the President's Cup are Zamboanga, Butuan City, Bacolod City, Nueva Ecija, Palayan, Zamboanga Peninsula, Porac, Bicol, Pasig, Sarangani, Pagadian, and Petra Cement. NLEX Road Warriors head coach Yang Yao believes players and coaches will most likely struggle in the early goings of the upcoming PBA bubble tournament. As to what types of struggles, Yao will discuss that when he graces MBTV's Sports Chat tonight at 6 p.m. via Manila Bulletin's Facebook page right after MB Now. And those are the news on web today, October 5, 2020. It's 81 days before Christmas. For more news and details, get your copy of Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph. You may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link on this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. 20 years of timely stories